We had a flag ceremony on the 7th over in Crestwood. It was so cool. They put it in half mast. They did it in half mast for the veterans.
Good evening, everyone. Our time now is 6 p.m., and I officially call our City of Houston Downtown Development Authority meeting to order. We're going to ask a big thank you to all of you that are joining us this evening. We appreciate you being here. We ask that any and all comments be made when the audience is addressed, and in the meantime, we'll be speaking amongst ourselves. I don't want to avoid answering any questions, but let's please keep them concise in one time frame. And thank you for being here. Yes, ma'am. Now that we've been called to order, can we move to an approval of the minutes from the November 13th, 2023 meeting? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Seeing that as unanimous, we will move on to the next. We also have gotten some of our numbers for financial reporting. We will be reviewing some of these. There are a couple of things that we need to fine-tune and verify on some of these numbers, so our financial report, per our earlier conversation, will be reviewed a little bit further. Once we have that information of what's going to be allotted and everything, I will let all of you know, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Wonderful. So next, we're going to move on to our report of committees. As you know, there's several pet projects that each of us have. I kind of look at everyone's pet projects. I do not micromanage them. That is not my style. So I'm going to be calling on different ones of you to give me an update on your pet projects and your responsibilities. I'm going to let it be known that since we do not currently have a secretary or a treasurer, that is forthcoming, we have been relying on our city treasurer to give us our financial reports. We will be examining that in the future. We'll be working closely with the mayor and council to be able to fill these spots appropriately. I encourage anyone that is interested in being on the Downtown Development Authority board to submit an application. There will be a process of informal interviewing and discussion, and we look forward to having some quality people that want to work with us to help make the city of Houston even better. Are we all in agreement? Wonderful.
Yes.
I would like to move on to our historic downtown committee. I know that Joe Vogt and Dr. Hunter have a lot to add to that, so whichever of you would like to go first and give me your 5 cents, that would be great.
If you would open by talking about what we just spoke about.
I do have the items ready for the time capsule, so I would like for us to do that sometime this month and come up with a date where we can meet in the city hall and actually deal with it. I've just got to check with Bob and see if the Shutterfly book has been received, because that is something that we've been waiting on. So, yeah.
Would you like to add on the Shutterfly? I do have a comment on that.
No, go ahead. I'm just talking about time capsule.
Right.
I think I was told the time capsule went to James Lawson and,
Well, we're gonna get it back.
okay.
It
Do we
belongs
have-
in the mayor's office.
Do we have enough items to put it in?
Yes,
time?
we do. We have loads of stuff to put in.
Oh, good. I guess last update I heard differently, that's why. We didn't have
No.
enough items.
I have downloaded all of the documents that are city documents. They are on a flash drive and on a
excellent.
disk. We also have the Fall Festival brochure that's pretty good size. And I was asking tonight if we had any of the, it's happening in Houston, and the little mural
Oh, yeah.
things. I want to put those two in there because I have enough plastic bags that I have ordered to slip those into their own individual one. We have to keep in mind that the time capsule itself is limited in space.
That's right.
So what we were doing is trying to find as much stuff. And in the Shutterfly book, we have a lot of information that is current, that is photographs that we've taken all during the year, so that when you open it up and look at it, there's a lot of information about present 2022 and 2023 Pushton.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Norm.
I have an idea for the time capsule. I know it's kind of a special project, and I know we have the spring gala coming up. I wonder if maybe we can coordinate to have like a special moment for the time capsule then. I don't know if it's too far in the future or not, but
Well,
I
I
would
was
love-
really hoping to get it done and finished by the end of this year, because we had said it was 2022, 2023.
right,
And that was the whole point. I mean, we can keep delaying it and delaying it and delaying it and adding things to it and adding things to it, but like I say, there's a limited amount of space inside of it.
yeah,
So we have to be very careful. I just would like to get it finished and done
Right.
so that we can say to the city of Pushton, it's done, finished, and it's sitting out there waiting for you to
right.
open.
I wasn't sure if we wanted like a ceremony or anything like that for it, or to, I don't know, present
We
it
can
in
talk
one way.
about that. I know,
Yes.
it would be nice to have something
Yeah.
special.
Yeah,
We had thought about doing it at Jingle Mingle, but I could not be there.
right,
So, and there really wasn't, a formal,
right.
recognition of the time capsule scheduled for that particular event.
Right.
So we may want to schedule something special.
Just as my opinion, we should have a special recognition of this time capsule. It is a momentous event, and we're going to seal it for someone to view in the future. My understanding at this point is the Shutterfly needed some more editing, that it had a lot of information, but it was not to the point that it had a wow factor where we wanted someone 100 years from now to open it and look at it and go, oh.
50 years from now.
Or, yes, excuse me, but nonetheless, and when we're no longer here, did it have everything in it with a wow factor that people would want to see and not think that we were boring, for lack of a better word?
Well, it did have all of the city council members, all of the, current police, all of the, it had a Jingle Mingle from 2022. It had, the Fall Festival. It had lots of the different activities that go on, and that's what we were more concerned about people seeing, were the things that we did on a fun basis in the city of Houston for the community, so that, when they looked at it in the future, they could say, okay, yeah, we're still doing that. No, we forgot to do that. We need to bring that back, that kind of thing. So,
Absolutely. We don't want to let anything slip through the cracks, and we want to make sure that we have the best presentation possible. We have one opportunity to get it right and have the right wow factor. So I think we need to collaborate on that. Pick a date where we can have a momentous ceremony for it. I don't know if it will tie in with your clock or not, because I don't know the status of that at this moment, but
We'll talk about that.
absolutely, I will turn that over to you. But of course, this is open to discussion with all of us. It's, not a hard and fast. We rule by committee, not by a dictator. So anyhow, what did you want to add, Dr. Kumar?
No, it's basically just to follow up on the time capsule and the time clock. So how we can kind of do it at the same time, and so that the public also can participate, because it's going to be a very important event, so.
And we'll want our newspaper there to photograph it and have an article.
Yeah, Ben can take
Ben knows that already.
it.
So we want to make sure we clear, a date that works for you as well.
So a little bit of an update on the clock. I've reached out to the manufacturer of the clock, and they said that it would be ready for delivery in early spring.
Oh.
They didn't specify a date, nor, and if they did that, then I wouldn't believe them anyway, because it's hard to nail down a specific date for a piece of equipment like that. I think we had expectations that it was going to be here sooner than that.
Okay.
We got tied up in getting deposit checks to them and a few other things. And then, as I think I counseled everybody on, once you've got the holiday in the middle of what you're trying to do, then that time period just sort of disappears.
Okay.
So early spring is about as good as it's going to get at this point, and I'll try and keep in touch with them and find out specifically what that means.
Sure.
Once we get past February, I'm going to be a little bit more pressing in terms of what
Okay.
that means. I always couch my discussions on who's writing the check. We wrote the check. I need to see some action on their
That's
part
right.
to meet with what our expectations were. So that's kind of where we are. There's not a specific date right now.
Was the deposit 50% or did we make more than
40%.
40%?
Just on other issues as it relates to the historic downtown or the preservation committee. We've got a few things that we've talked about that we haven't really taken any action on, primarily caught up in budgetary items as we discussed before. Upgrading of the Darby building, some work that we might do on the Magnolia property as well, and a few other things that we don't really need to discuss right now. But one of the things that I thought we could do without the benefit of spending any money is focus on some things that we talked about doing in the past, which is come up with some storyboards that we can use in this room to sort of give a little bit of a history of the founding families of the city. That doesn't require any money. We probably have a lot of that information already gathered, and it's something we can do as project work until we get the budgetary issues resolved. So that was the last challenge that we had, and we haven't met since then. So
I like
just
that.
to help me understand, already we have all the pictures in the old city hall. Are we going to reuse them, or are we going to make a brand new?
No, it was our belief that they were going to end up in here on the walls,
Okay.
that they would be taken out of what is now the police
Police
station.
station. Yeah.
And, because that's really where they hold court, and bring them into this particular building so that the community could see the pictures just as they had seen them where we were meeting before this building was finished. So, that is something that doesn't require any money either. It just requires going and taking them off the wall, bringing them down here, and having our guys install them. Because there are some photographs in there with descriptions that are absolutely historic, not just in the historic nature, but an explanation of what Houston is about.
Yep.
So.
And that would lead me to a question to the city. Possibly we can arrange for some of our city worker employees to take care of that whenever it's convenient for the city to do so, if possible.
I mean, that's as much as I have on the Historic Preservation Committee.
Yeah, we meet later this month.
Thank you very much for those updates, Dr. Hunter and Joe. And Maria, marketing and branding and promotions and events, do you have anything to share with us exciting?
I do not. I know we had just talked about getting the social media accounts over. I'll get with Jessica in the city to maybe get that over, and then I'll get started.
And just to bring everyone up to speed, Maria is going to be taking over all of our social marketing for us. She has an expertise. That is her job that she does, so it will be in good hands, and we appreciate you and Maria making that a very easy, smooth transition. Jessica and Maria, thank you for doing that, and keep talking. I didn't mean to stop you.
No, you're good, but I am excited. I was going to chat with maybe Mayor and DDA and even input from public too of how we wanted to present Houston. What did we want to focus on the social media accounts? What did we want to highlight? And I'll kind of get some stuff put together for that.
Terrific. There are a couple of hashtags I would love to see added to all of our social media posts, and I'll share that. I won't talk about it on here. I'll send that over to you. I've shared those with Jessica just to make sure we can get the most mileage out of anything we put out.
Right.
And we always have to remember it's happening in Houston.
Yes,
That's usually my last thing, but so that would be wonderful if you can do that. And thank you for stepping up and agreeing to do that. We're appreciative. Do we have any more to add to marketing and branding? Do you have anything to add, Jessica?
I'm just really excited that Maria is going to take that on for us. I really love just sharing what our downtown businesses are doing with promotions, because they deserve all the love from us. So, and they appreciate it too. So it's really a good thing. And then between the hashtags, I think, and how you do your reels, I've learned some things from the best. So I'm super excited that you're going to be doing that.
Thanks.
Well, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next item on the agenda, Special Events Coordinator. We will be researching how to best fill this role. We've had Jessica in this position, and as some of you know, and probably all of you know, Jessica will be leaving us for better things in the future. She has to do some things that are good for her family. So we will be researching a special events coordinator role. We'll be nimble. We'll try to grow and be flexible as we need it. And as we have more events planned, then we'll work to have them help us, unless you have any objections to that approach. You know, start small, grow and build upon it, and have a solid foundation and good building blocks, if that makes sense to you guys. Rather than starting out super big and then needing to shrink, I'd rather start small and ripple out and grow, if that makes sense. Any input,
Yes.
Dr. Kumar?
No, fine.
I'm doing all the talking.
At least once in a while. Go.
And then next, we'll move along to our next item on the agenda, dealing with long and short-term projects, and I'm going to turn that over to you, Dr. Kumar.
As all we know, this DDA is in existence for last 2.5 years. On a long-term basis, we secured the grant from GDOT, that $700,000 GDOT grant for planning and scoping to help the Highway 53 downtown region to minimize and mitigate the traffic, and that was the long-term goal. This grant was awarded last year, so we are working with the mayor and council to narrow down how to align ourselves to the major GDOT project. Just I want to give you update on the GDOT presentation recently we had last week. So this is the third meeting I attending for GDOT. So they were looking at Braselton-Houston bypass study. That's how they started 3 years ago, just to give a background to you guys. Then they kicked off this meeting 2 years ago in Gainesville. They were collecting the data, and they are taking a holistic approach rather than piecemeal approach. So they are looking at different highways, I mean the Highway 61, 332, 211, so that they can see how best they can minimize the traffic along this corridor. So this corridor is one small piece in a big pie. So they approached in a different manner and how to minimize, and they collected the data. They looked at the cost-benefit analysis, say how to deal with this one, and are we getting the bang for the whole money we invest. So they came up with 4 options, typical of GDOT, and it's a short term, which is first 5 years, medium term 5 to 10 years, long term is 15 years. So the long term project is close to $900 million, which is a long shot. So the medium is going to range from 100 to 500 million. Again, this is a big numbers, and they will go back to the public and get the feedback. Then they will work with the commissioners in the county, then they work with the elected officials on a state level. So this is the big picture going on in GDOT. And they have one project which might fit in the first short-term project, 5-year project, which is around $30 million, which will help to improve the traffic mitigation tools along the Highway 53 from Jefferson all the way to Peachtree. So this is the big holistic GDOT project. Going back to DDA GDOT project, the 700,000, this study really helps us to understand which direction in the long run this DDA, I mean the downtown of our city is going to go along. So this grant is just to do the design and scoping and right of way. So it's going to be 4 to 5 year project. The 700,000 can be increased to 1 or 2 million depending on the scope and what they recommend to us. So as a DDA, so I'll be working with the mayor and council and the city engineer and pretty much get the ball rolling for the next year so that we at least get the project started as we go along, see how far we go. So by looking at this long term, that can kind of tie with your beautification project, Maria. So we want to make sure that the entire corridor can be beautified, not only downtown, all the way from there to Peachtree. So the low-hanging fruit is from Peachtree coming towards the downtown where you have a minimal disturbance to these structures. Again, these are just thoughts. We need to meet with the city planner and city engineer. So once I have enough update, I'll get back to you guys. So that's on GDOT project.
That was a lot of information, and thank you very much.
All right.
I had to write lots of notes on that. Any questions regarding that? Board? I know I have to absorb that just a bit. Moving along to our next item is grant writing and fundraising, and I know that we have Dr. Kumar and Dr. Hunter who have worked on grants. Who would like to speak first regarding grant writing?
I think yeah, go ahead.
No,
Yes.
we did not get the grant from the others, but Jen sent me, a link to the community grant, which I'm gonna look for. So, 'cause I've written grants for a couple of other organizations, but they don't have anything to do with what we are funding. So, what we have to be concerned about is which projects we want to actually get a grant proposal to include, and what the cost of that proposal, that project would be. Pretty much the same way we did the, park over on the other side of the city. We've got to have specific monetary amounts in order to do a grant. You can't write a grant, they have to know what you're gonna use the grant money for. And that is what has to be specific. So, until we determine exactly which projects we want to write grants for or fit into an organization's grant writing proposals, then, we have to wait to see exactly not only the project, but where does it fit
Right.
into somebody's, proposal.
Now, I have a question before I go to you. When you say we did not get, the one that we applied for, we did not secure a spot in it? When you say we did not get it, they turned us down?
Right.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Was it because others had applied and were in line ahead of us, or any other particular reasons?
No, they don't, and Jessica knows, no, it's not necessarily because there was somebody better than we were. What they were looking at is where they wanted to put their money and what they felt was the most efficient and the best, proposal for them. That's their judgment. We have nothing to do with that. All we do is give it to them, and then they sit on their committee, their board, and they determine, because they know how much money they have to spend and where they're gonna put it.
Okay. Thank you for that. And Dr.
Just
Kumar?
help me understand, this is the grant for T-Mobile grant for $50,000? Is this a grant?
Yeah, this was the one for, that
Right,
Jessica and I
Jessica.
sent in for the park. Mhm.
Parks.
Yeah, for the park.
Was it from T-Mobile?
T-Mobile,
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
It was.
$50,000 towards the park, okay.
Yes. Mhm. Exactly.
Wonderful. Thanks for clarifying that for me. I wanted to make sure I had a firm understanding of that.
Yeah, that one was.
Any more on grant writing and fundraising, Dr. Kumar?
Fundraising, I think last month we kicked off the brick project towards Walk Street project. It could be for Walk Street or it could be for Mulberry. That's more towards the community. So we want to continue to work on the fundraising on the brick project. And Marsha, maybe you can help us out. Maybe we can put the brick somewhere else close to the city hall.
Mhm.
So at least we can have some kind of a target. Right now we have little less than $1,000.
Mhm.
Hopefully by next Christmas, we want to have, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000.
Well, that's what we need to determine is exactly where we want to put the bricks, because we were gonna put them in the park over
Yeah.
there, on Oak Street. What would be helpful is to have one or two of the bricks here
Okay.
for people to see,
Yes.
to know what they are indeed purchasing. And once we determine where we're going to use them, then have an idea of the drawing that shows them where they're going to be placed. I know a lot of organizations who do bricks. They do, one organization I belong to has a huge tree inside of their lobby, and you get a leaf on there for someone, those kind of things. So, but what we have to determine first is where we're going to put them, so that they are indeed visible by the community and in a very public place.
That's an excellent point. while you're talking, I was thinking through this process. Since already we have a time capsule, wherever we put the time capsule,
It goes out front.
yes, can we add 20, 30 bricks to next to time capsule?
Well, what I had proposed was, and found on Amazon for a lot less than the
Yeah, we talked
ten,
about
but right, and we've, were the two cabinets that we would have out there. One of them was a permanent cabinet that had the time capsule in it and some, of the one or two of the historic photographs and items from the previous city hall. That would be where the bricks would go, because they
Okay.
do lock. Okay, the cabinets, I made sure they
Okay.
were
Locked.
locking cabinets. The other one on the other side would be one that was, well, I guess you would call it something that was mobile, and 4 or 5 times a year it would change with a different emphasis as to a historic person, a historic event, something that was meaningful to the history of Houston. I had talked to the Historic Preservation Committee about doing one of the exhibits,
Okay.
and the Art Council had also mentioned wanting to do one of the displays. So we have people who are willing to do that, we just have to get the cabinets.
Okay.
And I believe we have those slated for 2024, if I'm not mistaken. I did see that approved for
Yeah.
2024. Wonderful. Any other input, board, on any of this so far?
As far as the bricks go, we're waiting on the web, because there is a website, and the whole website says it was for Oak Street, so hopefully I can work with Maria, and we can kind of work on the wording for that to where it's not just strictly for Oak Street. It could just
Yes.
be for a open fundraiser, so.
Wonderful. I know that we'll
It could
be,
be used, it could be used for the Mulberry property as well.
Yeah, we had
Because
discussed that
There
too.
are places down
Yeah.
there that need that kind of, like a walkway.
Yeah, and it's an easy fix on the website. It's
Yeah.
very
Maybe
user-friendly,
I'll
so.
coordinate with Maria on it, so you and I can work and report back to Marcia.
excellent. And I know we'll be waiting on our marching orders from mayor and council about where we're going to put our next emphasis. Some of these things will come from them soon, some will come from the retreat, but we're building as we go along, and we'll have some stability and some guidance. So we'll be working on that. Any more to add on those items, board? Moving right along. Board member recommendations. We have had some recommendations of proposed board members. We encourage everyone to make an application for that. And it's really important that they understand what our vision is and how we want to promote our downtown businesses and help our businesses to grow, because truly that's what we're all about here. That's why we're here. And we want to make sure that there's a good fit of their skill set and team dynamics. So we encourage people to make those applications, and then we will have an informal type interview with the board just to make sure that we all align with the same goals and purposes. Any thoughts?
I have something to add.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that the volunteers that we had Friday night, some of them were residents, but a lot of them were from the Jackson County High School, from Key Club, Honor Society, so keeping them, some of them had worked at Farmers Market last year, so I really think keeping them involved, because some of them do live in Twin Lakes as well, so they're neighborhood kids. I think that's really awesome that they can be a part of what's going on in their downtown and can just keep doing that, because they love it and they want to participate and they have fun, so
That's
it
a
works
good-
for them.
True.
So I really think utilizing them
But
and
that's
really
a
great.
Great point. In
Yeah.
fact, we propose to come up for high school students a community hours. If they do a community job, we can give that letter when they
Service
apply to
hours.
the school, colleges. The DDA chair can write a recommendation letter, so that's a good way to bring the community back to the DDA.
Each of the high school volunteers that I spoke with on Friday evening, they were so excited to be here, so happy to be a part of what we were doing. So I would love to tap into that and keep them in the future, and I'm going to rely on you to make sure that we get that information so that nothing falls through the cracks. We want to keep our young people excited and moving and involved in things, because without the youth, we're no longer growing.
Well, are we giving them service hours?
Yes, that's what we started,
Yeah.
so they can work with the
Essential.
committee and they can allot them to any
Well,
job
part of
they
their
want.
high school resume
Yes.
includes where they have volunteered and what service hours they have done for their school and their community.
That's right.
So we need to
Absolutely.
make sure that we indeed provide them with a letter that gives them that recommendation.
That's right.
Absolutely.
In fact, we did the same thing when we worked with UGA. So we brought few high school students to help us out so that they become a part of this community.
Absolutely. Any further conversation on that item, board? Moving right along, the 2024 retreat. We are at the mercy of the mayor and council regarding when their retreat is, and we will schedule our retreat to dovetail with that as well. It's going to be a learning curve for them because we'll have a lot of new ones. It will be a time for us to come together again and learn more. I'm excited about that. It will be sometime in the spring as we know more about moving towards that date of determination. We'll all be kept on board and make sure that we're cleared for that, so that we can rejuvenate ourselves and get excited about how to move forward to serve our city. Any conversation on that? Comments?
Are we doing,
Do we need to provide you with any of the?
Blackout dates?
Yeah.
Please do so. We don't
Okay.
want to have
Send it
it
to
when
Tracy.
please give me any blackout
Yeah,
dates
I
if that's
have some
okay with you.
blackout days, yes.
Okay.
Well, I would not be in town.
are we
Wonderful.
doing a separate DDA retreat and then with council, or is it all together in one day?
My last understanding was, go ahead.
It's a separate meeting, as far as I know. If it's combined, that's okay too. Let's wait and see. After the new year, we'll figure it out.
And I like it when there is a city council retreat and we have an opportunity to go in for a short time of that. But I think it's important for us to have our own with the people that concentrate solely on things for downtown development, authority growth. But we'll see how it unfolds and what our list of desires are from the mayor and council. Any comments? Moving right along.
I'm sorry, just since we brought the date, the next year DDA meeting, we want to talk about it now. It's 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, we were talking about it.
Yes, we were discussing that. It'll still be on the second Monday of the month. And there was some question and discussion from the city about whether or not we moved the time like we had voted upon to making it 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Apparently that is not dovetailing well with everything. They had proposed that we leave it later. It's open-ended. We did discuss briefly, should we keep it at 6 or is it possible to move it to 5? I think that's open for discussion. We don't have to make a decision right now at this particular moment, do we?
Yes,
Oh, we do.
because the next meeting is going to be
January
January.
Next year, right?
That's why I brought this one.
Thank you for doing that.
Well, the question is, the reason for moving it from 6 was overtime for the city officials. Does 5 o'clock not include overtime? If
Apparently,
it does, then it doesn't really make any difference. Jen, does it?
Speak to that. It's me, and I'm adjusting my hours, to kind of save on weeks that
Oh,
are
okay.
meetings
All right.
and things,
So it would not be an overtime
so
issue?
it won't affect that.
Okay. I mean, that was the main reason for moving it, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm sorry, go ahead.
gonna say, if keeping it at 6, I feel like that probably does give good opportunity for more public to come after work
Yeah.
hours.
Okay.
That-
Yeah, exactly the point I was gonna make.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll leave it at 6 p.m. if that works for everyone. We won't make any changes. We will plan to meet next on Monday, January the 8th at 6 p.m. if that is in agreement with everyone.
that's right. And
Yeah.
then you can update the 24 calendar with the same thing.
Does
And
that
you can
work?
circulate back, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Moving right along to our next items, the events in our proposed spring gala. Dr. Hunter and I,
Yes, are working on it, yeah. Do we have a location, Sri?
Yes,
Okay, awesome.
yes.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, so just some of you guys might know, we are kind of working on the factory, we are working on the building. So we got delayed due to Georgia Power and all other utility companies, so we are kind of going slow. Once it's ready and we are willing to give the factory to the DDA to host the gala function for the fundraising, so that is
Yay.
in place.
and just so the public knows what we're talking about when we talk about our spring gala, it'll be something along the lines of another charity fundraiser that I have done for another charity in the county for many years. for lack of a better way to term it, it was almost a grown-up prom where you come out, you're dressed up, there's dinner provided, there's music, and there's dancing opportunities as well. We had a price set previously that was per person and then a set price per couple, and we were able to consistently raise about $40,000 for our charity. And that's something that we would like to move forward with, to have some financial security and some seed money for our DDA.
Grant.
That, yes, and grant, and that does not come dependent on taxpayer money per se. I'm extremely fiscally conservative. I want to make sure that every dime we spend is well spent because it is ultimately taxpayer money. If we can have additional fundraising up to $30,000 to $40,000 of profit, wonderful.
All right, I'm going to hold on to it. So Tracy's going to bring 30 to 40 grand.
I'm going to do my best, and
the
we'll
other
take
question
community
I have is,
participation.
I would love to buy a
The Historic
ticket.
Preservation Committee is looking for, events at which they can do like a silent auction, or, the Art Council has said that, so that event, we would be able to do something that would be, conducive to the Historic Preservation Committee, because they're also looking for funding issues,
Mhm.
for their own projects, not just the Darby building, but some of the other things that they're wanting to do.
It would be most excellent to be able to have another group man the silent auctions and possibly some live auction items
Yeah.
as well, that they can dovetail in, participate in our event as well, and it be a win-win for everyone across the
Yeah, a dinner and
board.
a date with Joe or with Dr. Kumar.
I mean,
Those are
hello.
the kinds of things that we could just really sell big time. don't you
I
think?
say Chief Hill.
Yeah, there-
Come on,
oh, yes,
Marcia.
let's not forget. Oh, yes, let's not forget Fred. That would be fantastic. Yeah.
But,
You
you know,
love
an
that.
opportunity
Come
to
on,
dress up, come out and have a nice dinner that's catered, have good quality music, the opportunity to have a dance as well. I mean, it has been something in the past that was very well received, and would give us an opportunity to showcase, hey, we're working hard to make our downtown development better so we can make our downtown businesses better served by us. So that's just a thought that we're working on towards
Absolutely.
Spring Gala. We've already looked at some caterers.
With the caterer, yeah.
So we're working in that direction. Date's not yet decided, but we will
Decided on
work
that.
on that.
Once
Any-
again, we need to know your dead dates, okay?
Yes.
Those dates you cannot participate.
Okay.
Because we're having to also go around the dates for, spring break with the school system,
Yes.
both in Jackson and Gwinnett County. We need to make sure that we're not, having the event during that particular time. And, though there's not any football going on, we do want to make sure that we're not, the spring game is not something that is, there either. Yeah, I know.
Afternoon on a Saturday, we're clear on that.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Any other comments, board? Thank you for that acknowledgement, and I'm a diehard dog.
Well, hey, aren't we all?
Moving on to the next item, we've talked about some other events, and we're looking at rolling some together, maybe some Hush Foodie Fun Festival, and Dr. Kumar and I and others have talked about other food-related events to have in the city, and that's somewhat fluid at the moment, and if you want to add to that, please do so.
Yes. As all we know, we have been going back and forth on barbecue festival for the last 2 years. It's not that we don't want to do it. We want to do it in a methodical and slow manner and well planned so that our chances of failures are kind of minimized. So in that regard, I talked to the Georgia Barbecue Association president last week, I believe, Greg. And this is what he suggested. The prize money is going to be 10 to 15 grand. And they will bring about 10 vendors to the city. And in terms of the community participation, it's on us. They cannot help us. I was talking to Marsha, I'm sorry. So they will bring about 10 or 15 vendors to the city to participate in the competition. And in terms of the community participation, it's on the DDA and the city to coordinate. So their job is just to manage the event. So to make a long story short, we need to kind of tag along the barbecue with another festival so that the public can also join the barbecue festival. So we were kind of brainstorming, Tracy and the mayor, and we are kind of thinking about a foodie fun festival. It's like a Hoch foodie fun festival where you bring a lot of food truck and it's a lot of foodie events where then we can have a barbecue to go along with it. I know it's going to be a new event. At least we can continue to talk about it and learn the logistics. So once we are in a good shape, once we get the event coordinator and everyone, perhaps we can do the foodie festival and bring the barbecue to go with it. On a modest price amount, instead of 10,000, we can go with 2,000 or something, so that we can kind of test the water without burning any of our cash. So that's one thought process. Do you guys have any suggestion?
I don't mean to get in the way.
That doesn't include the pickleball tournament.
That's a good point, Marsha. Just to update the public, we are about to meet with the pickleball tournament coordinators at Crestwind. In the first two meetings I was with them, they are not going to sponsor anything in terms of the monetary effect. So they can kind of a parallel with them, because all the people going to pickleball can come to the barbecue festival.
Right.
But we cannot have the barbecue festival within the Crestwind.
No, well,
Community.
we were talking about having it on another piece of property.
Yes, you're right.
But at the same time, on the
Exactly.
same weekend.
Yes.
So that, because the pickleball tournaments bring huge crowds
Okay.
in.
So what do you think,
Really?
Marsha? Do you think is it worthwhile to do barbecue festival with the pickleball and take the risk of the prize money? What are your thoughts? Or we can have the foodie festival and barbecue
Yeah.
at the same time with the pickleball tournament. That's another.
Yeah, having lived through the pickleball tournaments at Crestwind, it's important to understand there are a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And that is an opportunity that we would have not only to sell barbecue,
Foodie
but,
festival.
right, yes, but to also bring in some food trucks. Because barbecue is wonderful, but then there's dessert.
Yes.
Okay, all right? Yes.
I don't
There
blame
are
you.
there's always ice cream.
Yep.
Okay? There's always other things that go along with that barbecue food
Yes.
that could be included in the pickleball weekend. Okay?
And the foodie fun was about food trucks.
Right.
That
Food
was
trucks.
what we
Exactly.
had discussed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also you can bring different ethnicities of food so that we can give a wide, broad range of food options to the
Now, my
participants.
question is,
Yes, ma'am.
do we charge these people who are bringing their food, their,
Food truck.
Vendor fee?
yeah,
Yeah, there will be a vendor fee, just
Yeah.
to,
Okay.
very modest one, so that we can kind of do the marketing materials, he can print some materials. It's going to be very modest.
Yeah, just to clarify.
Jessica we will tap Jessica for all her experience. She kind of a volunteer to help us out on a need basis. So we can always talk to her.
And to know.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Maria?
I was just saying to clarify, the Georgia Barbecue Association, that 10,000, is that for them to do the entire event for us? Is that correct or no?
It's a good question. The 10,000 is for the prize winners. We pay
Gotcha.
Barbecue Association about
Gotcha.
500 to $1,000 to bring the sponsors to our place.
Gotcha.
So that's the prize money.
Prize money. Gotcha,
Whoever
gotcha.
wins gets
Gotcha.
10 to
Okay.
15,000.
So this is a contest.
It's
Yes,
it's
a contest, and we have to do the fundraising for that.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
a Georgia Barbecue Association sanctioned event.
Sanctioned event.
Gotcha. Come up with that word.
Gotcha. And then,
And-
sorry.
No, please go.
The Foodie Fun Festival, that would be, we're gonna do one or the other.
I think
Not necessarily.
combine it, whichever makes more sense, so
Okay.
that we don't lose the public
Okay.
and the pickleball tournament participants out of state who's coming
Okay.
here.
Cool.
So that they can get to know our town and try to move to our place.
Well, I will tell you that, right now pickleball courts are pretty good size, but in talking with, Crestwind, the rest of the tennis courts and pickleball courts will be finished in 2025.
Oh, okay.
So the whole area will increase in size, not this coming year, but the following year.
So this would have us have an opportunity to get in on the ground floor and
Right.
experience the growth. And I'm keen on allowing food trucks to be involved in some of these events if we can combine the two. I know lots of local business owners that have food trucks and have some of those opportunities, and I think that's helping our local businesses as well if we can do something that allows food trucks, whether it's together or separate.
Either way, it's
Promote
fine.
these.
I think Marsha made a good point. I think once we kind of a parallel with the pickleball tournament, our chances are much higher. A lot of out-of-state participants to pickleball. I think, like Tracy said, we can experiment next year. By the time when they're ready with 2025, at least we learned all the kinks and perfect everything from our mistakes. So that'll be a good platform to do.
Not only that, that's when the Kroger will be finished.
Yes, yes,
So there will be space over there as well.
yes. So we can put it at a different location and see how it goes.
Keeping our options open for opportunities to grow.
I'm ready for the Kroger, I'll be honest with you.
Any other comments on this section, or shall I be able to move on to the next? Announcements and reminders. Just a reminder for anyone that is not aware, we just hosted our 3rd annual Jingle Mingle this past Friday, the 9th. It was a wonderful success with lots of good feedback from people that attended and businesses that participated as stops. We sold, to the last count I had was 131 tickets.
Great.
For that, most of which were in advance. There were a couple of last-minute tickets. And we had about 400 attendees. Not everyone that shows up for Jingle Mingle actually is a ticket holder, because there are some events that are free, photos with Santa and things that draw a family, and not everyone is having a ticket for that. Next year, we plan to have some more activities that are entertaining for children and family members not participating in the walk, and we've discussed having the opportunity to add more stops and include more businesses, as well as having expanded hours possibly for that. That's all fluid and open. I will say that the last report that I had, we had approximately $3,680 in profit from our event on Friday. Anything that we can gain as profit, we can use to our next event to help it grow and continue to expand and save money and move forward. Please, Jessica, since it all falls on your shoulders, since ultimately you are the right hand of all of this, please share with me your Jingle Mingle report.
I think it was a really great event being on Friday night. We had a lot of people excited to go to all the businesses. The businesses were excited. We had golf carts provided by Northeast Georgia Motorsports, and I don't know if anyone saw them, but they put a trailer on the back of it with 2 church pews. They had Christmas music going, Christmas lights. It was awesome, and so we're really appreciative to them. And Cozy's was one of our sponsors, and they donated a recliner. And Rock Hard Spirits also was our platinum sponsor, so we really appreciate them. The students came out from elementary school and Jack's Code Dance, which Ben got some amazing pictures of them. If you didn't see them, they're on our Facebook. The depot was busy. Everyone was happy. Mayor Martin, we all sang Silent Night together, and it was like Maria's Gilmore Girls scene. When she moved here from California, she said she felt like Houston was out of the Gilmore Girls. So I think it was really amazing, and it kind of gives me chills because it was really sweet. And just Mayor Martin having the kids with her up underneath the gazebo to light our tree was really special. And then at the end of the night, like I already said, I went to turn everything off. I was here by myself, and it was kind of like, just the end of something really special, because I think the Jingle Mingle is awesome, and it'll continue to be great. Like, we have great volunteers, great DDA board, and a great community, so I think it was awesome.
Thank you.
There were some things I probably could have planned better, but besides that, I was happy.
Thank you for all of your hard work on the Jingle Mingle to make it.
And we made money, so that's a plus
Yeah.
too, so that's a win-win for me.
Absolutely. Any other conversations on Jingle Mingle?
I'm talking for the next year Jingle Mingle. Good news, we got a 20-foot tall Christmas tree for next year, so Mayor Martin will be kind of lighting that.
And where is that sucker gonna go?
I'll wait and see, we will see what's the best place to put it in. At least we bought that was
Wow.
my understanding,
Mhm.
because DDA wanted to have the tallest tree, if you recall, so I think.
I
That is
have some
true.
trauma from last year, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak on that, thank you.
Please.
I heard about it. I didn't live it.
That's forgotten.
Moving on to our next item, coffee and conversations. In January is our 1-year mark of this successful opportunity that was thought of and created by Jessica, where we have people come out to a business that's spotlighted, have coffee, networking, and mingling. We're looking at some ways to augment and improve that in our next cycle. We've been brainstorming on that, so we want to continue that effort. Not necessarily always in the morning for some conversation. It might be at different times because people do drink coffee other than just in the morning. I'm living proof. So we're going to explore those options, but plan to keep that moving forward with the momentum you provided.
Thanks, Jessica.
Quarterly newsletter. This is a question I do not have an answer to. We need to decide if we want to continue our quarterly newsletter in 2024, and this will be a conversation amongst all of us and how it wants to be continued, and Maria's going to be taking care of it, and how we want to proceed, if she's still willing. I know you're very busy. If you're still willing to continue with that, that is most excellent.
Yeah, I think if it's quarterly, I think that's manageable.
Okay.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, those newsletters, we're going out with water bills, so you probably have seen a couple of them. We kind of have laid off recently, but we're going to get back into it, so.
We appreciate your hard work, as always. Any other items on that? Or shall I move on to the next item? We have a long agenda tonight. I'm not having a 15-minute meeting tonight.
Anymore.
The next thing is input from our public. Do we have any public input this evening? Any questions? Any cheers? Okay, we'll take that. Thank you. And then, if we're ready to move on to the next, I take a moment during the end of the meeting just for my chairman recap. And while I'm doing my chairman recap, I want to make sure that I mention our Jingle Mingle sponsors, without whom we could not have had such a wonderful event. Our platinum sponsor again this year is Rock Hard Spirits. They did a super job each year for 3 years now of supporting us and allowing us to have some wonderful memorabilia. We had Northeast Georgia Motorsports. We had Atlanta Compressor. We had Holder Pest and Wildlife Services. We had Philmart Transportation. We had Ash Wellborn Insurance, Clark's Heating and Air, Oh So Cozy, OC Roofing Systems, City of Houston, and all of the DDA members and volunteers and council members that participated. And I just want to say thank you to each and everyone that made it a possibility to do it again, and for the input that's going to help it grow in the future. Together, we can all do great things, individually, only small things. And I would be remiss if I did not say yet again how much we appreciate Jessica. We've taken a moment to have a cake and a flower arrangement and a balloon because, as we all know, Jessica is moving on to greener pastures for her family's benefit. She has promised me that she will be available to assist me, and she may even be a volunteer for our Jingle Mingle event in 2024. It has been a learning curve and a wonderful process of working with you. I know that each and every person in this room, and especially all of us board members, appreciate the excitement and the enthusiasm that you brought to the DDA. You were truly our number one cheerleader and the face in the public that made others realize what we were doing. Without you, we would not have had the year that we've had. And we all appreciate you. I speak on behalf of the board.
Well, I appreciate you guys and all of my friends and people that I've learned from, and I'm not going anywhere. I do live on the east side of the county, but I love Houston coffee, and I love my friends and the connections I've made, so I'll make an exception and come back and see you guys, and I appreciate y'all so much.
It's been awesome. Thank you. it's not really the end of an era, but it's just a change, and we'll continue to move forward together. Do we have anything else that we have to add this evening? Seeing none, do I have a motion for an adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for the conclusion of our meeting.